Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and today we are back for another live stream. And tonight, luckily for me on the East Coast, the Dallas Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights, instead of their regular 9:30 p.m. start time here on the East Coast, they're playing at 7:30. So we're heading into the third period now, and we'll see what happens here. It's a 3-2 lead for the Dallas Stars. Really, the only part of this game that I have seen is late in the second period. Alex Pietrangelo going into the boards, kind of a battle with Tyler Seguin. He basically punched him in the face, so he gets a roughing penalty. It was a little bit of controversy whether it should be a 5-minute major because Tyler Seguin was bleeding. They stuck with the 2. They called it a 5-minute, then they took it back, turned it back to a 2-minute penalty instead of a 5-minute. And that's kind of where we're at right now. And Dallas ended up scoring before the end of the period on that power play. And it is 3-2 Dallas. So this is the game that is going to be kind of interesting, because so far this series so the first 2 games were in Dallas. Dallas had home ice advantage going into the series. Vegas won both games in Dallas, games 1 and 2. Then games 3 and 4, the Dallas Stars returned the favor. So through the first 4 games of the season, or of this series, nobody has won on home ice yet. So now that the series is back in Dallas, Dallas with a 3-2 lead here, they have the chance for the first time in this series to win a game at home. So we'll see if they're able to hold on to this one. I think the Dallas Stars are going to take care of it here. I think the Dallas Stars will win this game. This is going to be a really good series. I've been saying it before. I'd be very surprised if it didn't go to 7 games, but this is a big game here. I think whoever wins this game will ultimately win Game 7, because I think it is that tight of a series. But also, we have not talked since yesterday. There was a couple of games yesterday. Of course, if you follow the channel, I did post a couple videos earlier today. 2 more teams have been eliminated. So the other day it was Washington and Tampa. Now the New York Islanders and the Winnipeg Jets both have been eliminated from the Stanley Cup playoffs. We have our first official matchup for the second round between the New York Rangers and the Carolina Hurricanes. Everything else is still TBD, so we're still waiting to see on the Boston-Toronto series, the Dallas-Vegas series, and of course everything in that Pacific bracket. The Vancouver Canucks and the Nashville Predators, 3-2 series for Vancouver right now, and then a 3-1 lead for the Edmonton Oilers. They have a chance to close that series up tonight. That game will be on later today. That is a 10 p.m. Eastern time in Edmonton. So the Los Angeles Kings are playing for their lives tonight, and we'll see if they're going to be able to come out on top and potentially take this series back to Los Angeles. For the Islanders, they lost this series in 5 games. A really heartbreaking loss for the Islanders. They played well in that game. They played well the whole series, but just bounces, the hockey gods, puck luck, everything was not in the Islanders' favor. And unfortunately, when you're not the better team to begin with, it's a lot more difficult to win. And that's kind of what happened to the Islanders. For Winnipeg, really frustrating for them. They won Game 1. And they basically got reverse swept, losing the next 4 games to the Avalanche. The Avs won this series in 5 games convincingly. They scored a lot of goals in this series. It was like 4, 5, 6 goals a game. If you're Winnipeg, you're thinking to yourself, we had a really good defense this year. We had one of the best goalies, the Vezina winner in Connor Hellebuck, and we still gave up 4, 5, 6 goals a game. It's crazy, but the Jets are just, unfortunately, yeah, they lost in the first round, but they lost to a team that could potentially win the Stanley Cup here in Colorado. I think they are that good, and I think that whatever we see between, whoever wins this series between Vegas and Dallas and Colorado, that is going to be the best series in the Western Conference this year, in my opinion. I think it's going to be better than the Western Conference final, in all honesty, because whether it's Edmonton, Vancouver, LA, Nashville, those teams are good, but I think these teams are better, in my opinion. And the way Colorado dismantled the Jets, Dallas and Vegas got to make sure they're ready to go. They have to take care of business in this series, And they got to be ready for what's going to be lying on the other side, because there's no easy task in the second round. And that was pretty clear after game one. Now, I'm not really sure what happened because, I mean, technically this game started at 7:30. I know it starts late, but, you know, usually the 7 o'clock games end by 9:30. It's almost 10 o'clock already, and they just dropped the puck. So we'll see how long this game goes. The first 6 minutes have gone by pretty quick here. We have 14 minutes left here in the third. Dallas with a good chance there. Logan Thompson's been playing well for Vegas. It's one of those things where he's been giving up more of the goals at the wrong time than he did the first two games. But, you know, you really can't take too much away from him. You know, I think 2 of these games went to overtime. Like, it's one of those things where you can't really blame it all on Logan Thompson. Unfortunately, I think tonight for the Kings and the Oilers, fortunately, I think the Oilers are going to take care of business. I think the Kings are going to go down today. As much as I don't want to see them go down quickly, I think the reality is for the Kings, they just don't have the offense right now. They don't. What's going on, Grimmers? Thank you for joining us. It's just one of those things where I just think the Kings are outmatched here. And, you know, they're playing Stuart Skinner. He's playing really well right now. I don't think there's any way of underestimating what Stuart Skinner's development this season has been. It's been nothing short of incredible. Oh, wow. So Aiden Hill is starting. Interesting. Okay. So my bad. I said Logan Thompson was in tonight for Vegas. That is indeed Aiden Hill. Wow. So the shots on goal, it was 11-9 for Dallas in the first. Then Vegas outshot Dallas in the second, 7-6. And then so far, we already basically have as many shots in the second period, in the third period, and we're not even halfway through the period. Vegas already has 6 shots, and Dallas has 5 already. So this could be a interesting end to this game if that trend keeps up. And like I said, the difference maker in this game right now is Dallas got their second power play goal of the game from Jason Robertson in the dying minutes of the second period. That was a huge goal there for the Dallas Stars. And we talk about that. You know, scoring goals late in the second period can be a real momentum shifter. That was a big one late in the period, especially a goal to put you up to make the lead. Instead of tying the game, it's taking the lead. That was a big goal there for Dallas. I just think it's funny how a lot of people kind of said this in the beginning of the playoffs with how the format of the playoffs is. You know, basically Dallas was the best team in the Western Conference standings, and what's their reward? Playing the team that won the Stanley Cup last year. And most of that core is still intact. something that I think a lot of people don't necessarily like the way that the system works, because that happens, but because you're basically punishing Dallas for winning the West. So I think that's a conversation that we'll see again during the summer. I wouldn't be surprised if they went back to the 1 through 8 format instead of doing the divisions and things like that. As much as I like seeing teams play each other multiple times in the playoffs, like we saw a ton of Pittsburgh, Washington, Rangers, Hurricanes, Islanders, Penguins a couple times. Those are nice, but I don't know. I feel like there's the opportunity like this where you can do everything right. You win your division, you win your conference, and then you play a team like Vegas. And I don't know. I just think that's a little bit silly, because then Vancouver, you could argue, had the easier opponent in Nashville. I think that's debatable, but so the shots right now, Vegas is out shooting Dallas 23-22, but the Dallas Stars do have the lead, a 3-2 lead right now. And we are pretty much halfway into the third period now. Alright, that is going to do it for tonight, guys. Thank you for watching. If you like this content, want to see more of it, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. We'll be back tomorrow night for Game 6 between the Bruins and the Toronto Maple Leafs. That is going to be a good game. Is there a way that Boston can close out the Leafs, or do the Leafs force another Game 7 in TD Garden? That's going to be an interesting storyline going into tomorrow night. Like I said, if you're watching the replay of this, let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay. If you're watching the live, let me know that you're watching the live, because I like to see how you guys are watching the